The late evening sun slanted through the floor-to-ceiling windows of apartment 304, Daffodil Heights, a warm, honeyed light that caught dust motes swirling above the beige modular sofa. Lila kicked off her strappy black sandals at the door, the clack echoing in the quiet flat. She didn't call out "I'm home." She never did anymore. She was wearing the dress again, the crimson off-shoulder bodycon, tight through the waist, flaring just enough at the knee to suggest movement even in stillness. It clung to her like a second skin, bold, defiant. Gold hoops swung as she tossed her oversized tan tote onto the sofa cushion, missing the armrest by an inch. Inside it, a half-empty iced coffee, a crumpled tissue, and something else heavier wrapped in a glossy shopping bag, tucked deep. Anjali, her mother, stood by the dining table, folding a stack of freshly laundered curtains. Her cream linen salwar kameez whispered with each movement. Her low bun was immaculate, not a strand out of place. She didn't look up immediately. But she heard the hesitation in Lila's breath, that tiny pause before exhaling, the kind that came before a lie. "Show me what you bought," Anjali said, her voice calm, neutral, the tone she used when checking Lila's phone bill or verifying her college attendance. Lila froze mid-step toward her room. "Nothing much. Just coffee." "Then it won't take long." Anjali placed the folded curtains down. She walked over, bare feet silent on the cool Italian marble. She didn't ask. She reached for the bag. Lila's hand shot out, "Ma, wait," but it was too late. The zip slid open with a metallic sigh. Anjali's fingers closed around something smooth, cool. She pulled it out. A silver pendant. Delicate chain, lotus-shaped pendant. Still attached, a tiny white security tag, blinking faintly red. And beneath it, a receipt, the label Life, Select City Walk, Gurgaon, stamped with a timestamp, 1748. Lila's phone buzzed on the coffee table. Instagram notification. At Fashion Diaries _ new drop. Limited stock. The pendant in the post was identical. Anjali didn't speak. She reached deeper. Next came the lip gloss, Fenty Stunner lip paint in uncensored, unopened, still sealed, 3,200 Indian rupees printed boldly on the sleeve. And then, the final betrayal, a crumpled slip of paper tucked into the side pocket. Not a receipt. A CCTV log printout, stamped with the store's logo. Frame 147. Female, red dress, shoulder bag, aisle 3 item removal, no scan. Lila's breath hitched. Her eyes darted to the hallway mirror, her reflection. Flushed cheeks, smudged kohl, red dress glowing like a warning flare against the muted tones of the living room. She looked young. And guilty. "Who gave you these?" Anjali asked, her voice still low. Too low. "A friend," Lila mumbled, fingers twisting the hem of her dress. "For my birthday." Anjali turned the pendant slowly in her palm. This friend forgot to remove the anti-theft tag. And this? She held up the CCTV slip. "Did your friend also hack the store's security feed to print this?" Silence. Then, a whisper. "It was just one thing. One thing becomes a habit," Anjali said. She walked to the balcony door, locked it with a soft click. Drew the heavy ivory curtains. The room dimmed, intimate, inescapable. "Go sit on the sofa." Lila didn't move. Anjali turned. Her eyes, dark, unblinking, held no anger. Only sorrow. And resolve. Now. Lila Saturday. The leather sofa creaked under her. She crossed her arms, chin lifted, the practiced pose of wounded pride. But her knees were trembling. Anjali disappeared into her bedroom. She returned moments later. In her hand, not a belt. Not a slipper. A hairbrush. Dark teak, worn smooth by decades. The back carved with faint floral motifs, her grandmother's. Used only twice before, once when Lila was 10 and lied about breaking the Diwali diya. Once when she was 14 and snuck out to a rave. It wasn't about pain. It was about weight. About memory. About consequence that left no bruise, only a mark on the soul. Anjali placed it on the glass coffee table. The thud was louder than it should have been. Stand up. Bend over. Hands flat on the table. Fingers spread. No, Lila's voice cracked. I'm 20, Ma. You can't. I can, Anjali said, stepping closer. Because I love you. Because no police cell will teach you what this will. Because the woman who lost that pendant. She's my age. She's someone's daughter too. And you stole her trust. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Lila's defiance crumpled. A tear escaped, tracing a black line down her cheek. Slowly, stiffly, she rose. Turned. Bent at the waist, palms pressing into the cold glass. Her red dress stretched taut across her back, the off-shoulder neckline slipping slightly, exposing the vulnerable curve of her shoulder blade. Swish. The air parted. Thwack. The first stroke landed squarely, not on bare skin, but through the thin cotton blend of the dress. Sharp. Deep. Lila gasped, fingers scrabbling on the glass. Thwack. Second. Lower. A hot bloom of sting radiated outward. Her knees buckled, but Anjali's hand pressed firmly between her shoulder blades, holding her steady. Thwack. Third. She sobbed. A raw, broken sound. Thwack. Fourth. This is for the cashier who'll be questioned. Thwack. Fifth. This is for the security guard who'll lose his bonus. Thwack. Sixth. This is for the shame you brought into this home. Thwack. Seventh. Lila's forehead pressed to the glass now, tears pooling beneath her. Her breath came in ragged hitches. Thwack. Eighth. Final. Deliberate. Anjali let the brush hang in the air a moment, the silence louder than the strike. Then, softly, straighten up. Lila rose slowly, trembling. Her dress was wrinkled, one strap dangling off her shoulder. She didn't wipe her face. She just stood there, small, exposed, the crimson fabric no longer bold, but accusing. Anjali placed the hairbrush back on the table. She didn't touch her. Not yet. Why? She asked. Lila's voice was a whisper. Instagram, everyone has it. The pendant. The gloss. Priya got hers gifted by her boyfriend. Ria's mom bought hers. I didn't have the money. You said no more advances this month. And I just thought. You thought what? Anjali stepped closer. That rules don't apply to you. That stealing is just borrowing with bad timing. Lila shook her head, fresh tears falling. No. I knew it was wrong. But in the moment, it felt easy. Like no one would notice. I noticed, Anjali said. Because I see you. Even when you try to disappear behind filters and dresses. She picked up the pendant. Held it out. This isn't fashion, Beta. This is integrity. And you broke it. Lila looked at the tiny lotus, tarnished now by her sweat, her shame. What do I do? You return it. In person. You apologize. You pay the restocking fee from your savings. And you tell them exactly what you did. Lila nodded, silent. Not defiant. Relieved. The next morning, the sky was overcast, a soft grey blanket pressing down on the city. Lila stood at the entrance of Select City Walk, still in the red dress. No heels. No makeup. Hair in a messy ponytail. Barefaced, she looked younger, vulnerable. Anjali stood beside her, silent, supportive but not softening. The security manager, Mr. Kapoor, a man with kind eyes and a salt and pepper mustache, met them in a small office near the mall's service entrance. No uniforms. Just professionalism. Lila placed the items on his desk: pendant, gloss, the CCTV. Slip. I stole these, she said, voice clear despite the tremor. At 5:48 p.m. yesterday. I put them in my bag without paying. I'm deeply sorry. I'll pay double the restocking fee. And if you need me to, I'll help with inventory. Or community service. Whatever you think is fair. Mr. Kapoor studied her. Not with suspicion. With curiosity. He picked up the pendant. You know this design? It's part of our women artisans collection. Made by a cooperative in Rajasthan. Each sale funds a girl's education. Lila's throat tightened. No. I didn't. He nodded slowly. Most don't. He turned to Anjali. You handled this the right way. We won't press charges. But she will write a formal apology letter to the store. And to the artisan group. And she'll volunteer 10 hours at the mall's youth outreach program. Deal? Lila didn't hesitate. Deal. As they walked back to the car, Lila didn't look at the glittering storefronts. She stared at her hands, still red from gripping the steering wheel of shame. That evening, the apartment was quiet. Lila was on her knees in the kitchen, scrubbing the floor tiles with a stiff brush. No music. No phone. Just the rhythmic shush-shush of bristles on marble, the scent of lemon disinfectant sharp in the air. Anjali sat at the dining table, grading student papers. But her eyes kept drifting to her daughter, the red dress now smudged with cleaning foam at the hem, the gold hoops removed, hair loose and damp at the temples. After an hour, Lila stood, wiped her hands on a towel. She walked to her room and returned with a folded sheet of cream paper. She placed it beside Anjali's chai. No words. Anjali opened it. Ma, I thought stealing made me powerful. Like I was beating the system. But all it did was make me small. Today, Mr. Kapoor showed me the pendant story. A girl named Meera, 17, carved that lotus by hand. She's saving for her sister's school books. I'll start at the youth center next week. And I'll go with you to the NGO on Sundays, no excuses. Thank you, for not letting me become someone you couldn't recognize. Lila Anjali read it twice. She didn't smile. But she rose. Walked to Lila, who stood stiffly by the sink. And with slow, deliberate care, Anjali reached out and smoothed a deep wrinkle from the front of Lila's red dress. Her fingers lingered for a heartbeat on the fabric. Then she turned, walked to the bedroom. The hairbrush was still on the coffee table. Anjali picked it up. Walked to the antique teak wardrobe. Opened the bottom drawer where winter shawls and old diaries lay. She placed the brush inside. Closed the drawer. Click. Outside, the city lights flickered on one by one like stars returning after a storm. Lila stood in the hallway, watching her mother's reflection in the full-length mirror. For the first time in months, she didn't look away. She just stood in her red dress and breathed.